slight frame of Mohamed Kubwa is somewhat of a contrast to the meaning of his name. Kubwa literally means big, but after hearing Mohamed's story and the colossal trauma that he went through between 2003 and 2005, then does his name begin to bear significance to the story of terrorism in Kenya. Kubwa was before the year 2001 a councillor in Lamu, married and enjoying life untainted by criminal records. But that changed once he met Mohamed Fazul. Fazul, who came to the coast of Siu in 2001 from Somalia, lived under an alias. It was under this alias that he worked himself not only into the lives of Kubwa and his family, but into the lives of the people of the small island of Siu.
We called him Abdul Karim, and they said he was Fazul. So we were sort of put in because they could not maybe catch the suspect.
The thought that Fazul so effortlessly shed off his identity and became part of a Kenyan community is indeed a scary thought. So we retrace the steps of Fazul, working backwards from Mombasa, where he's said to have spent part of his life, down to the island of Lamu, off the coast of the mainland. Lamu is the oldest Swahili town, retaining its heritage as one of the foremost trading ports in East Africa. Lamu is home to approximately 35,000 people. It maintains a strong link to modern influence, has security and a close-knit community. But Fazul was only here intermittently. 45 minutes by speedboat away from Lamu is a small island of Siu. So we set out at dawn to find a community that accommodated a terrorist, to understand just how a terrorist of such ill repute got into Kenya. Hidden behind the lush semi-aquatic trees off its shore, Siu Island feels like a castaway place where little ever changes. Indeed, the fort set up by Arab traders still stands as one of its most imposing monuments. The community here seems suspicious of our presence, but as we find out, it wasn't always this way. When Fazul arrived here, his first duty was to religion. The mosque where he prayed at is now old and dilapidated. He also spent a lot of time teaching good habits as well as the first lessons in the Muslim faith to the young at this madrasa. It is still in use today, but residents here are yet to forget Fazul, who they still refer to as Abdi Rahman. International anti-terrorist networks know Mohamed Fazul as a master planner of the Kikambala and 1998 embassy bombings in Kenya and in Tanzania. But the people of Siu knew him as a humble, prayerful stranger who married one of their own. In fact, where I'm standing is right in front of the door to his home. When he came here, Mohamed Fazul was accompanied by 12 other strangers who later left, some of whom were arrested on the way to Pakistan and the United States, and others who were involved in the 1998 bombings as suicide bombers that drove the pickup into the American embassy. Fazul's supposed piety won the hearts of the community there and Mohamed Kubwa's family. He soon married Mohamed's half-sister. However, it must be noted that while he seemed religious, no one really bothered with where he came from, who his parents were, and what he did for a living. Those are details that even Kubwa admits that Muslims gloss over many times. Fazul's fellow madrasa teacher, Ali Shaban Abdallah's reaction drives this point home. Apparently, Mohamed Kubwa too was surprised that a brother-in-law, whom he admittedly didn't know much about, was one of Africa's most wanted terrorists. Kubwa's shock didn't end there. When he was arrested, the natural assumption for him was that he'd be interrogated by Kenyan police. But, as he discovered, this was a war being led by an altogether different country.
Kenyan police, or maybe the Kenyan authorities, were just there to observe. But I don't think they participated in the interrogation and such things at all. They were just there always.
Who interrogated?
The Mossads.
Kenya now has a much more effective effort against terrorism than it had then. We've collaborated very closely with the Kenyan government to improve its capability.
It is true that the war against terror is an international effort requiring cooperation between national security agencies, But why would the police cede authority and interrogation to another country over crimes that happen on Kenyan soil and the pursuit of a criminal said to operate at times in this country? We sought the comment of the police on this matter on 2 occasions, but police spokesman Eric Raithe was unable to comment. After Kubwa's interrogation, he was incarcerated at the Committee Maximum Security Prison on charges of murder. 2 years later, when being released, he still did not comprehend the reasons for his arrest.
If Fazul is running up and down while we are in, or if Fazul is there and they cannot catch him with all the security and whatever, it doesn't make sense.
Therein lies the major concern in the war against terror: perception. The perception is that the Muslim community in particular is being targeted, given the case of Kubwa and many others, and the burden of correction of this perception lies squarely on those initiating the war. Still though, fundamental questions about how Mohammed Fazul and his accomplices got into the country, how safe Kenya's borders are, and whether efforts to keep terrorism away from Kenya will bear fruit still abound. Can we adequately police our borders and our coastlines? These questions led us to what was an almost open border before 2003, Kiunga, at the Kenya-Somalia border. John Allenham, KTN.